Coming up on Finding Better Podcast, we're going to talk about believing in yourself. You talk about something that is so core to finding better in your life. Troy Horne is joining me, and we're going to talk about his life. And you're going to see this is a man who did not grow up with a silver spoon in his mouth. And yet he fought through his childhood. He fought through all the doubters. He fought through all the people who said, well, I couldn't do it, so you can't do it. And he refused to believe in what other people wanted to believe of him. He believed in himself. And it is an incredible, incredible conversation. Please share this. There's lots of people who need to hear what Troy has to say. Here we go. Hello, 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 and welcome back to our Finding Better podcast. This is where we share real life experiences of people who have done that, have been there and done that. It's not about academics, it's not even about opinions, and it certainly isn't theories. Because, sometimes the best path to success is to follow in the footsteps of people who've been there and done it. And so today and it's all about finding better, whether it be finding better relationships, finding better life, finding better dog food. I don't know. We talk about everything, right? Today we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart. My guest is Troy Horne, and we're going to talk about believing in yourself. Believing in yourself. Because if there's something more core in finding better than believing in yourself, I don't know what it is. And, so we're going to talk about this because, we live in a world where we're just bombarded by these messages of inadequacy, right? Of advertising that says, if you don't buy my product, you're not going to be happy. Social media saying, if you're not like me, you suck. Well, we're going to break through all that. And Troy and I are going to talk about it. We're going to have a great conversation that everybody needs to needs to listen to. So listen, before we get started, I just want to tell you a little bit about Troy. All right. So Troy is an author and he's an amazing speaker. He's an amazing coach. And he wrote a book. And he wrote four best-selling books, by the way, but his most recent one is called Mental Toughness for Young Athletes. How cool is that? 8 proven 5-minute mindset exercises for kids and teens who play competitive sports. And so he's focused on our youth. He's focused on helping them get through that mindset of breaking through all that, excuse my French, but bullshit clutter of what the world wants us to believe about ourselves and get on with it. Troy, welcome to Finding Better. I'm so happy you're here.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. This is really cool. And you know what's funny? It's there's so much to talk about, but yeah, that's very cool.
But what's funny? What's funny? Tell us what's funny.
What's funny is, I was gonna say that book came from a place of people trying to tell, my kid at the time, who's, now a young man, all the limiting beliefs, all the things, all the not believing in yourself, and so, I was like, this is not gonna they try to do that to me, and that's why I was like, it's not going to happen to my youngster. So we wrote a book
Good
to
for
kind of like
you.
really help him move through that. Yeah.
Good for you. And so I mean, I just called all that the bombardment of bullshit,
Oh my
right?
gosh,
And
so
and
much. Yeah.
and it's and when you start to believe in that external stuff, it all of a sudden you're going, well, maybe I can't. Maybe I shouldn't.
Yes.
Maybe I'm not good enough.
Yes.
Maybe blah blah blah.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
it's just, and we're going to talk about this, but one of the things, how okay, so Troy,
Yes.
let's
Yes.
let's get into your story, right? I mean,
Cool.
believing in yourself and don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't do something.
Yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
us your story and tell us how you got to this point of sharing that message.
Well, when I was younger, I didn't have I'm kind of big into giving the things that I wish I would have had. When I was younger, I wanted to be a musician.
Uh-huh.
And everyone was telling me how hard it's going to be, how you can't do it, and and I don't know, I was just younger and filled with gumption, and I was like, oh yeah, as they say, hold my beer. I'm gonna go do, what they say. So despite all that, in the beginning, it was kind of like I'll show you kind of a thing, and it led me to doing, getting a Broadway show, and led me to um,
Whoa.
uh, um, having a record deal. It led me to being in film and television. And during all that time, I was like, you know what? I don't want someone else who may not have that. I don't know, just kind of like I'll show you, to not be able to share their gift for the world because someone told them that they were not able to do it because of this metric or this study or whatever. So
Or this
that was kind of,
personality or this
yes, yes,
disadvantage or this whatever.
yes,
I
yes,
mean, I tell people, especially young people, and I know it can be cliche, but you can be anything you want to be.
yeah,
I mean, you
yeah,
look at the great people and the people that we admire, whether it be professional athletes and
right,
you've met Kobe Bryant and
yeah,
all these people that we idolize, right?
mhm.
Um, there, what makes them so special, right?
That's
Whoever
the
it is
thing,
you're
right?
at, and I don't know what your background is, but and I want to ask you how I mean, to say that a lot of people they say, hey, I want to be a musician. I
Mm,
mean, how many people in your
mm.
life told you, well, you know what,
Oh
Troy,
my
that's
God.
a tough business to get into, and the
Uh,
chances. And I have to
yes,
admit, I've been
yes,
one of those
yes.
people myself,
Mm, mm,
right?
mm. Okay, yeah.
Advising, kind of like, well, I don't want you to be disappointed, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And they're dream stealers. They are
yeah.
dream stealers. So
Mm.
how did you break through all that?
I was a knucklehead. I was like, I was very stubborn. I'm just keeping it real. I was like, I was just very stubborn. I was that person that anytime you say I can't do something, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. And the thing that was interesting about it, John, is like when you go through these places and you land a record deal that you were looking for, or you end up on this stage, you look around and something you said, you look around and you realize everyone here is just a regular person. There is no
That's right.
magical thing they have that I don't have or that you don't have. It's just a matter of, constantly getting better, constantly focusing on what you want to do, meeting people, creating great relationships, and showing up. There is no magic gene or ability or whatever that anybody else has that you don't have. So,
It's so funny. I have two friends in the martial arts world. One of
mm-hmm.
one of whom has been my karate sensei for 25 years,
Nice.
and just an amazing, amazing guy. And one of the things that we tell people is, if you want your black belt, just keep showing up.
Oh my God.
There's no magic in it.
No,
Just
no,
keep showing up. And
absolutely.
you will, for some people, it takes longer than others, right?
Yes, yes.
If to get in the school that I was in, it's between 4 and 5 years of coming twice a week.
Hmm.
Some people did it in four, some short of four. Some people took 8 years,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, but you just keep coming and you make a decision and you just keep going. The other friend, a dear friend of mine, is a great grandmaster in Taekwondo. She's the
Wow.
number one, she's a top female. There, I think she's the only great grandmaster. There's masters, grandmasters, and she's a great grandmaster. And she is fond of saying, he can do, she can do, why not me?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah,
Right? He can
yeah,
do, she can do. Why
yeah.
not me? It's just amazing. And she grew up in a time during the Korean War where they took young girls, little girls, and had
Mm,
them walk through minefields to find the mines because little girls were not valued in Korea. And
wow.
and they weren't allowed to practice Taekwondo. And she was watching through little fences, right? And she kind of taught herself and now she's one of the top people in the world. He can do, she can do, why not me?
Yeah.
And
No,
that's,
definitely.
and that's kind of one of your hidden gifts,
I
right?
think it's
Your
all of
stubbornness.
ours. And people try to take this stuff away. It's like we all have this human desire to be something great. And my hope is that I can help people move more towards that desire.
Now, did you grow up in Beverly Hills, or did you grow up with a silver spoon in your mouth? I mean, you got to Broadway, and
Yeah.
tell us about that, because it
Yeah,
sounds
no,
like you did.
no. I grew up with a wooden spoon, maybe.
A stick, a
Right, a
stick.
stick. Oh my gosh. It's like, it's funny because actually I'm writing a new book that is going to come out here. It's maybe out by it's called Middle Management. And it's about people over 40 finding their new second half of life calling and all that kind of stuff. And I share that to say it's like in that book I talk about tough skins. I don't know if anybody is old enough to remember tough skins, but I wore tough skins because that's all my parents, we couldn't afford Levi's. So we went to Sears and Roebuck and
Oh my
got tough
gosh,
skins.
Tough Skins. Yeah, I was
Yes.
thinking about a music group. You're talking about,
No.
yes, I remember Tough Skins for
Yes.
sure,
I
for sure.
it was like those things were the bane of my existence. We had chicken necks for dinner, like for a little bit because we were like struggling, and we graduated to turkey necks because they had more. It was like so. No, there wasn't a silver spoon anywhere
There's a
in
turkey
the.
neck.
There was a right. Hey, yeah. So
Wow.
yeah.
So
So
you didn't grow up in an advantaged environment
oh
where
my
people
gosh.
introduced you to singers and professional athletes. So what how did that journey happen?
Well, I was in college and I did something that my parents were thought I was crazy for at the time. I was going into my junior year and this amazing musician. I went to Sam Houston State University out in Huntsville, Texas. That's a whole other story. But there was this amazing musician that was there my freshman year. He came back my junior year and he said, I came back because, I really couldn't find any work as a musician. And so I'm gonna get my master's or doctorate or whatever he's gonna get so I can see if I can do something, in a different field or whatever. That for me was like, well, if he tried and he can't do it, well, I might as well give it a shot. So I said, after this year, I'm leaving. I left school
Okay, wait,
early.
wait, wait,
Got
wait, 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 wait,
yeah,
wait. Most people would say, "Oh my gosh, he couldn't do it." So, man, yeah, I need
yeah.
to. What makes me think I can do it? You said if he couldn't do it, maybe I can. That's awesome. That is
I,
awesome.
I was like, well, I might as well give it. It was more like, well, I might as well try it because, I'm waiting for this big certification or someone to say I'm okay. And it's like, he has it and it's not working. So let's just give it a go, see what happens.
Nice.
Yeah,
And what
yeah.
what did you do from there?
So I worked all summer at this calling center or whatever and saved up like 1,500 bucks, which at the time I thought was enough. Moved to LA with my 1985 Sentra. It was standard. I loved it. No air conditioning. And driving down the 10 in the summer. Can you imagine what that's like? Anyways.
In Texas, yeah. Uh-huh.
So I got there with 1,500 bucks, and as soon as I got there, I realized, I didn't know this, but first and last is kind of a deal for paying rent. First and last month, you got to got to pay your deposit and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And I was like, you know what? Let me just go and try to figure this out. I got a job at Disney, working as caroling, like maybe 2 weeks in, and since then it was just an energy of I made this decision. I gotta make this happen. And even as we're talking about it, I know people like to say, "Oh my gosh, it was this moment, and I went out there and I was winning." I was terrified, and but I was like, I have to keep going. I have to keep showing up. I have to keep doing this, and it led to all such amazing things that I could never have foreseen, happening in my life.
Like
So I
what?
always tell people, go, oh well, like well, I met my wife and have three beautiful children, which is awesome. Would never have done that. I ended up starring as Tom Collins in Broadway in New York, and that came from being there. I got a record deal, ended up being in Forbes magazine, opening for Government Mule and Steve Miller, which was kind of cool to do. Um,
Whoa.
Ended up in NBC's The Sing Off. Before that, I was on Star Search, if anyone remembers that little show. Um,
The
yeah,
precursor to America's Got Talent
Got
or
Talent.
whatever.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And all those experiences were just like I ended up singing in an a cappella group that ended up touring all of like Europe and Asia and got to see so much of the world doing a cappella music, you know? So it's
That's
like
amazing.
I just tell people, you know, we owe it to not only ourselves but to the world to go out there and do the things that are those little whispers that we hear in our lives that we want to do because there's so many
I
other people. Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
We owe it to ourselves, but we also owe it to the world.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
really do. I believe that we all share a common purpose, and that's to make the world better than the day we landed on it.
Yeah.
And, there's it can be little things, it can be big things, but I mean, uh that resonates so much with
Mm.
me is not only for yourself but for the world. And a lot of people out there think, well, I'm not good enough for the world. Stop it. Just stop it. Right?
Yeah.
What do you,
Yeah.
what,
I
what do
went to
you what do
LA.
you what do you have to say about yeah, go.
When I got to LA, just to put it in reference, okay, so we've got, you know, written a book, sold over 200,000 copies. We've got did a Broadway show. We got toured with a rock band. We've got went to Europe and Asia singing a cappella music. Did Monday Night Football with that group. When I went to LA, I had never written a song. I couldn't play any musical instruments, and I didn't know anyone. So I'm telling you, it's like
Wow.
there's this amazing thing that we as humans can do when we make the decision. Is it going to be easy? No. There were some interesting moments that were like, oh my gosh, what have you done? But on the other side of those were all of the fun things, which is why I love that we say, or that you were saying, keep going. Keep going. Yeah.
And you know what the problem is with keeping going
Mm.
is that there are so many things and so many people who want you to stop and who are going
Yes.
to get in your way.
Oh,
And
yes.
your theme that goes to, believe yourself in yourself. Don't let
Mhm.
anyone ever tell you that you can't do something. Don't let anyone get in your way. It's
Absolutely.
it's one of those things, I in my career, 40 years in technology,
Mm.
we've all gotten really, really smart. You know,
Mm.
you
Yeah.
look at ChatGPT, you look at this little phone device, every generation. And it's I coined a phrase that says we've gotten so smart we've forgotten our heart.
Yeah.
And what you and I are talking about, Troy, is heart.
Yeah.
Stop thinking. I mean,
Oh my
use your
gosh.
brain, but follow your heart. If
Yeah.
there's a theme that I just want to share with everybody is that follow your heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Follow your heart. Now, this thing, your brain, is going to get in the way and I mean, its job is to protect you, right? Its
Yes.
job is to
Yes.
protect you. And oh, you can't do that. Don't go down that road. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, look at
Yes.
those people. They might be
Yeah.
dangerous, right?
Yes. Yes.
And,
Yes.
and let alone the external environment that doesn't want you,
Oh my gosh.
much of which doesn't want you to succeed. But a
Yes.
lot of the external environment of people who love you don't want you to get hurt,
Right.
don't
Yeah.
want you to be disappointed. So they're
Yeah.
protecting you.
Yeah.
Check your heart. Check
Mm.
your heart.
Yeah.
I can't, we've all had experiences of people telling us, giving us certain messages that we've said, you know what, that I don't think so. I'm going to go anyway.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You followed your
Yes.
heart. And
Go
that's what you
anyway.
did. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what you did big time. You
Well, that's
followed
what
your
we
heart, right?
yeah, but we all can, you know,
We
and
can,
the thing is I think the thing that we get in trouble with out there in the world is there are also messages of it should be easy. It should just flow. You should just sit there and it should just flow to you and fall out of the sky and every I haven't had that experience. Maybe other people have. For me, it did happen, but it was on the other side of a lot of hard, a lot of struggle, and which is why I think, you know, people sometimes don't achieve it. It's like it is on the other side of your what they say, everything you want is right outside your comfort zone. That's
right,
true.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. Everything you want is right outside your comfort zone. So get uncomfortable,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I mean, our comfort zone, um, I mean, we can go into all different kinds of a friend of mine once told me, he says, you know what, failure is not something to avoid, it's something to
Mm,
embrace.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and there's no failure in failure unless you didn't
No,
learn something from it,
exactly. Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
and he went on to say, so based on that, fail fast,
yeah. Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Just
100%. Yes,
just go,
yes.
just do it
Just
and
go.
don't give
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
And in the world that we live in today, in the world of social media and the world of all of this just craziness that's happening,
yeah.
right? You It's becoming more and more important to remember your heart. I'm in the process, and it's probably going to take me a couple of years, but I'm in the process of writing a book called Where's Tin Man
Mm.
of the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, come on.
And
Yeah,
this
yeah.
book, right? And this book is going to be about where did heart go in business? Where did it go in business?
I just got chills, my
And
friend. That's awesome. Yeah.
and we've it's all about money, it's all about data, it's all about, just
Yes.
bring back the heart. We are going to have a renaissance of heart. We're in the
100%.
middle of it right now.
100%.
Um, and but what you're talking about and what you've done with your life is, I mean, you talk about heart on steroids. And you're right. Everybody can do it. So
Yeah.
given that,
Mm.
okay, we're saying out there, everybody's out there
Right, right,
going,
right,
yeah,
right.
right,
Yeah,
whatever.
right. Of
You're
course. Yeah,
saying
yeah,
everybody can do it. I'm
yeah.
not everybody.
Right,
Okay.
right, right.
So do you have a prescription, or do you have a uh what are some magic bullets mentally that
Mm.
people can adopt
Okay.
that you've learned
Um,
yourself?
Number one, first thing is quiet walking meditation. We are inundated with so much like on the radio when we're driving, our phone is dinging, we're sitting down listening to a podcast, we're listening to whatever radio or whatever show you're watching. What I mean by walking meditation is during this period of finding, what you want to do, what your calling is. And this is something that I've done for myself, which is why multiple times. And which is why I'm suggesting this. Turn it all off when you're driving in your car. No, like, hear the wind and hear your voice, period. Like, no radio, nothing. When you're at home, just be in the quiet, be in this, and ask yourself, what do I want to happen? Now, here's the thing that happened with me. I don't know if it's gonna happen with everyone. You're gonna start hearing answers and you're gonna doubt them. Try the top three. Try them anyway. Try them. Yeah. And move into those. Yeah.
That is so cool. And that's what I took from that, Troy,
Mm.
is that it, try a little bit of meditation.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what quiet is. I mean, that's what meditation is. It's just quiet.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. And it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard. When I first started, and it still is, I couldn't
Mm.
stay quiet for 30 seconds,
Yes, yes. It's
right?
hard.
It's
Yeah.
really hard. But at the same time, what you said is let it in,
Mm.
and whatever comes, try it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to ask you for an example, but I don't want to put you on the spot
Oh, no, you're
of
fine. You're
of
fine.
of 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 a thought that came to you, and you said, "What?" I mean, do you recall something that came to you? Yeah, go for it.
100%. Yeah. Writing a book. I was like sitting there going, what what do I want to do?
What?
It's like write a book. And I was like, come on, dude. Write a book. It was like at the time, it was like I had just discovered that I liked reading books because so many stories I would read them and they just didn't resonate with me. It was like they were just different life experiences. So it was like it was that thing of like, okay, yeah, you say I can do this, or yeah, you say I can be whatever, but I know for a fact in the United States of America, this author and I do not have the same life experience. So okay, maybe, but I have to edit this or whatever. So I had just started liking books. So the idea of writing one was like, come on, dude. What are you talking about? But then I tried it. And during the writing, it was like, oh my gosh, this is helping me. Like getting this out is helping me and it's helping my kid and even in the book that I'm writing now, it's like as I'm editing it, John, I'm like, this is inspiring me. So I can only imagine that that person out there who can't, who's going through the same thing, going, this person doesn't know what it's like to live in my existence, will get this book and go, thank you for
There
writing
you
it.
go.
But in the beginning, I was like, you got to be crazy.
So yeah, yeah. So and somehow, some way you followed your heart. I mean,
Yeah,
that's your heart talking to you.
yeah,
That's your heart talking
yeah.
to you. And you didn't let your brain get in the way,
Oh, I tried
right?
many times. Yeah,
Right? Right? Exactly. It's
many
like, what
times.
are
Yes,
you, you fool?
yes,
What do
yes.
you think? And and I know that, as I wrote my book,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gosh, the entire journey. I mean, it took me 15 years to write my
Mm,
book.
mm.
Because I kept starting and re getting inspired and stopping because I'm like, okay, what if they don't like it?
Oh my gosh.
And then I got re-inspired and started writing again, and I'm just like, well, maybe I should wait a while.
Mm,
Am I prepared to take the criticism? And it just goes on and on and on.
yeah.
But you just fought through it.
You know
Not
something that
just,
helped
but you did.
me? You
Uh-huh.
know something that helped me, John, was I was like, I'm not writing it for a them out there that I'm writing it for the me 10 years ago or the me's 10 years ago or 5 years ago that really need this message. I don't want them to suffer
Ooh.
like I did. I don't want them to struggle like I did. So this is for
Oh, I
that
love
person
that.
I remember 5 years ago.
Wow. That's cool. I just thought to myself of what I said about sometimes the best path to success is to follow in the footsteps of others who've been there and done that.
Mm.
What you just said is you wish you would have done things differently, and
Mm.
you want to make that part of your life available to others so
Mm. So they don't have to do it.
they can walk the path that you wished you could have been on.
Yeah, skip some of the potholes. It's like, okay, this pothole's coming up. Skip that one. I know it's coming. I
Oh,
know it's
I
gonna look
love
like
that. I
this.
love that.
Don't go around that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that is wonderful. That is wonderful. So, one thing I wanted to ask you about
yeah.
is how you met Kobe Bryant.
Mm.
And yeah, because
Yeah,
just is my favorite basketball player. Unbelievable.
yeah.
Unbelievable person, unbelievable athlete.
So we were doing this podcast because before writing the book, I was like, I need to do some research. And I was like, I want to share this whole journey with, my son, really, and maybe our little community. So we were doing this podcast called Hoop Chalk Basketball Podcast out there on Apple still. And we were it. We were the only one that was a father and son kind of talking about this journey in AAU basketball. Kobe's publicists, because we were ranking number one because we were the only ones doing it. Kobe's publicist reached out to us and said he's writing this new book called the Wisnerd series, and we'd love to have the editor or something like that hop on your show and talk about it. And I was like, um, we don't really want the editor to be on because there's really no connection to the work, and we'd just be talking to the editor. But if Kobe would love to do it, would be interested in doing it, we'd love to have him. Like, let's see what happens. What do we got to lose,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. What do you, yeah. All worst they can say is no.
Right. I was saying says no. So I was like, and she was like, I don't know if he's available. And I go, then great. That's okay. You know, we're just gonna pass on this one. But again, if he's available, we'd love to do it. A week later, she writes me back and she says, Kobe will do the interview. Here are the times he's available. I'm like, but
Whoa.
here's the thing. The same thing happened with the Broadway show. I went to this audition, and if anyone remembers back in LA in the whatever 2017 or whatever it was, we had a thing called Backstage, and now it's Backstage West or whatever. I got a backstage. I saw the audition. I went down there. They called me a month later, just kind of like make this really quick. They called me a month later and said, we'd like to offer you the tour. And I was like, I don't want to do the tour because I have a kid. I had a 2-year-old at the time. But if you have something that sits down somewhere, I would love to do that. And I remember never forget Beth from Telsey Casting. She was absolutely amazing. She said to me, the only thing we have sit down is the Broadway show. And I said, great. So if something opens there, I would love to do it. She was like, okay. 2 months later, she calls, or a month later, she calls and says, the producer would like to see you. Can you get to New York? I go to New York, do the audition. 2 months after that, I'm standing on a Broadway stage. So, all that to say,
Wow.
making a decision and doing the thing that the why not, you know, is huge. Yeah.
The worst they can say is no.
Worst they can say is no.
I've been in sales all my life, and I tell people, you know what? If you don't ask, the answer is no by default.
Hey,
What have you got to lose?
yeah,
And the worst that can happen is they'll say no.
yeah,
And so what
yeah,
if they don't like me? Okay, they don't like you. They say no, move on, go to someplace
yeah,
else, figure it
yeah,
out,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And and going back to Kobe,
yeah,
sorry,
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
obsessed
yeah,
with Kobe.
yeah.
Did you like him?
He was awesome. What's great about Kobe was he is very much the Mamba, I guess if you will, all the time. By that I mean you could feel that energy from him that was like, uh, don't mess this up. But when my kid started talking to him, he turned into a dad, which is why I connect. He was
Oh,
like, hey Moses, great to talk to you, and let me give you some advice. And it was like,
oh,
it was, man, I'm like starting to tear up, like, because it's like, again, we are all people trying to do our best. And when
yes,
he just hearing him also talk to his girls, it was like you could see like this is a person who just cares about, things and or his kids or people. And but there's still that moment of him where he was like he sees a grown man and he's like, hey, you better do this right. Do right. It was
yeah.
it was it was really cool.
Oh,
He's
that's amazing.
amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, the world misses him for sure.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. Well, listen, okay, I want to ask you a question, okay? Because a lot of people are in this place or contemplating this place of thinking about starting something new,
Mm,
okay?
hmm.
There's two steps.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you decide
Mm,
and how do you stay motivated
mm.
to the point of making
So
it happen?
let me share with you guys something that probably won't be very popular,
Okay?
to the world. Okay. One, you have to, walking meditation for me was helpful. Okay. And
Right.
then, because here's the thing that happens, at least it happens for me. There will be two or three things that you'll come up with. One of them, is the actual thing, but there's something inside your mind saying, that can't be it. So that's why I throw in the other two, because, the other two are ones that you might feel a little safer about. But there's always one thing that shoots to the top of your mind that that's the real thing you want to do, but you're like, is it possible? So I'm like, try them all, do that. But here's the thing that I want to share that I've learned along the way that's a little controversial. The first steps, once you decide, in my experience, are yours to kind of do by yourself. They're yours to navigate by yourself to get clear on where you want to go. To kind of that's why like you've got to spend some time getting to know who you are during those first few moments. Now, down the journey, you're going to find other people that resonate with you and can help you along the way. But the hardest part for me, in my experience, has been we all want to run out and say, hey, brother, sister, mom, cousin, uncle, this is what I'm doing. And then, a week later, they're like, so are you still doing that? And it's like, yeah, but it's hard. And then you get this energy of like, now I'm no longer doing it for myself. I'm doing it so that they are pleased or so that they are approving or so that they are okay with it. And that's why I say the hardest thing, and you can do it because I believe that we all can. That first part, you have to go by yourself. You have to lay the foundation by yourself. And that's just been my experience.
That is so hard
It's so hard.
and sometimes so scary to do
Yeah.
because a lot of us don't know who we are. I remember, one of my favorite scenes in Lion King was Mufasa coming in
Mm.
from the clouds saying,
Yeah, remember.
Simba, remember who you are,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And because the world gets in the way.
Hmm.
And again, all that noise of you can't do
Hmm.
this. A lot
Right.
of us I set our identity based on what other people think of us
Yes. Hmm.
or what other people want us to be.
Hmm.
And so how do you break through that? How do you get to that point of success
Yeah. So
of accomplishing?
I hope this is helpful. It's a lot of scary, hard, tearful, sometimes evenings or whatever. But here's the thing I want people to understand on the other side of that.
Yeah,
One thing my mom gave to me when she taught me in her passing was you came into this world by yourself. You're leaving by yourself. You owe it to yourself to get to know yourself and to be, as Viola Davis says, the love of
love
your
her.
life. You are the love of your life. So you
Oh my
owe it to
gosh.
yourself to get to know yourself. You owe it to yourself to get to know the only person who will never, ever leave you, ever, is yourself. You owe it to yourself to get to know, like, and love yourself because that person's going to be there 24/7 all the time.
Yeah, forever,
Forever.
forever.
Forever. Get
That
to
is
know
inc
them. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you talk about a perspective. Holy cow. Your
Yeah.
mom must have been quite a woman.
Man. Wow. Yeah. Oof.
Wow.
You're gonna get
And
me
of course,
hot.
I
Yeah.
love Viola Davis. I
Yeah.
I love her. She's amazing.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite songs of all time is the late great Whitney Houston's Greatest Love
Mm.
of All.
Mm.
Learning to love yourself, it is the greatest love of all. But
100%.
what she doesn't say in that song is that learning to love yourself, it is the hardest
Hmm.
love of all.
Yeah.
And and yeah, so that's where the tears and hard work come in, folks.
Yeah. And
I, I've, I've
it's
yeah,
hard because people have told you other things about who you are. And it's like that's why you've got to turn, like, at least for a period of time, month, week, whatever, turn their messages off so that you can hear your own. And so you can learn to hear your own voice and learn to know who you are. I mean, it's the best thing you will ever do, whether or not you do anything else. Learn to know yourself. Go to a movie. I used to go to movies by myself. Just sit in the front row because I like sitting. Just sit there. Walk, sit in the park. Go to the library by yourself.
I interviewed a young woman. Her name was Saveti Rue,
Mm.
and she is a solo traveler.
Mm.
And she talks about, I mean, she travels on her own. I mean, like in 16 different countries, I mean,
Wow.
all over the world by herself. And she told me, she says, the journey of solo travel is not a journey of loneliness. It's a journey of
Mm.
solitaire, whatever that word is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She
Okay.
she learned solitude,
Oh, yeah,
solitude,
yeah. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Hmm.
right? Lonely and solitude are not the same thing.
Yeah,
And it has been in those moments of solitude, and we've all experienced it,
yeah,
where we're by ourselves, and whether for a moment or for a longer period of time, we something happens. We're just like, you know, um, and yeah, learning. I wrote that down. First. You said learn to hear your own voice.
yeah.
There's something really powerful in that.
Hmm.
Learn to hear and learn to listen to
Yes.
your own voice. Because I do believe, that voice that happens, it says, don't go down that road. Or that feeling that you get, you're going, this just doesn't feel right. It's never wrong.
Right. Right. Right.
At least
Yeah.
that's been my
Yeah.
experience, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I learned that a long, long time ago, and I just follow it. I follow my heart, and it's never ever. And I've learned that the heart actually has its own intelligence. There's a
Mm.
there's an institution called the Heart Math Institute in Santa Cruz, California,
Okay.
MATH Institute,
Okay.
that has studied the heart, and it is found they found that the heart has its own intelligence, and in some cases is 10 times more intelligent than the brain.
Oh my
And we're
gosh.
learning more and
Yeah.
more about different kinds of intelligence, right? We started off with IQ. Now we have the emotional quotient. Then we have relationship quotients, and we're coming up with all these different measures of intelligence.
Mm.
And what I want people to learn and what I want people to rediscover is their heart.
Yeah.
And when you learn to listen to yourself, I think at
No,
least
100%.
what I found
Yeah.
in my own meditation, which by the way I suck at, but I try, is that when those thoughts and those feelings come, you know,
Yeah.
right? Now whether you decide to follow it is a
Right.
different question. And what you're saying is go follow it, don't
Follow
ignore
it.
it,
Yes. Follow
right?
it. Follow it. Follow it. Yeah. Yeah.
That is
Follow it.
amazing. That is amazing. You have helped so many people, and
I
you are
hope
going to
so.
continue to help so many people. And, I mean, the world needs to hear what you have to say, especially the Western world,
Yeah.
right? Especially the Western
Yeah.
world. And you're going to help. Okay, so okay, so I believe that
Mm.
artificial intelligence
Mm.
is going to change our world in ways no one can imagine. It's going to change
Mm.
our ways. People think, well, artificial intelligence is kind of like the internet. Yeah, the internet was a big thing. And you look at these different things like mobile computing and smartphones and all this stuff. I think, and one of my speakers that I just spoke with last week,
Mm.
we both believe that this revolution of artificial intelligence is more like the Industrial Revolution.
Mm.
Our world is going to change, and as long as we survive it, it's going to be really cool at the end of it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The problem is what happens between now and then, and that's called the messy middle.
Yeah.
And I believe that it's going to become really important, if not critical, for people to rediscover their hearts
Yeah.
and to learn how to listen to their own voices.
Yeah.
Um, and you're front row center to that, Troy. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I hope that it helps people because yeah, I mean, I believe like you said, it's like on the other side of the messy middle, I believe is human connection. It's like, yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. That's
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
what it is. People ask me all the time, John, and I, people will call me up who are unbelievably talented people who have in technology who have been unemployed for the last 12 months and can't find a job. And, I'll always ask them, I'll say, you know what the definition of insanity is, right? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different
Different
result.
result.
Do
Yeah.
something different. You see these kids who started in college 4 years ago and they started in computer sciences. Fast forward 4 years later, they've got the diploma. They can't find a job if their life
Mm.
depends on it,
Mm.
right? I mean, AI is changing the world so,
Mm.
so fast.
Right.
And and it's artificial intelligence,
Right. Right.
right? And and so all this is to say that I absolutely believe to the core of my being that
Yeah.
the end of this is all about human connection
100%. 100%.
and getting back to the basics of loving one another. It's all about love. It's all about love.
I tell my kids it's kind of like we're in the disco era, for anyone old enough to remember that. It's like we're in the disco era where it's like everyone's in love with the flash and the lights and the, glam. Everyone looks great. And right after the disco era was grunge and rap and all this other stuff where people were like, I want something real, you know? And so we're in the everything's beautiful. Look at all these flashy things. And we're headed towards human connection, which is everything.
Yeah.
How do we get back to real?
And not only that, beyond the flashiness and stuff like this, I mean, I don't know about you, but we're living in a world of so much division.
Mm.
I mean, you guys, we got to snap out of it. We got to get back to each other,
Mm.
and we just have to bring a little bit more love back into the world and that human connection because
Mhm.
we're messed up in a lot of ways. And maybe the world has always been like that,
Mm.
I mean, it's never been perfect, that's for sure.
Right, right, right.
But when I look at the world, one of the joys of my life has been this podcast
Ah.
because I'm able to meet people like
Mm.
you who are trying to bring heart back into the world, and starting with you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You can't
yeah.
expect other people to get better unless you're focusing on getting better yourself.
Right, right.
And I'll tell you, a better you, everybody, lifts the world.
Yeah. And that's the real work. And if I can tell anybody, it's like if you can fall in love with who you are, the rest is so easy. This is the hardest work is learning and finding and loving yourself. But when you do that, the rest, oh my gosh, is so easy. It's so easy.
I got these goosebumps right now because and I wrote that down. Once you fall in love with yourself, it
Yeah,
it becomes easy. And
it does.
oh my gosh, but that one step of learning to fall in love with yourself, and it does
It's
start with
hard.
listening to your own thoughts.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Most
not only
definitely.
hearing, but listening to your own thoughts.
Yeah,
And Troy,
yeah.
you have given us oh, that's wonderful. It's
Mm.
wonderful. All right, so
Mm.
close us out, please.
Oh, yeah. So here's what I would like to say to anybody out there in the world of, listening to, you know, this amazing podcast. Let me just say this to you, if I can say anything. Anything that you desire that you want to do, you can do. This is coming from someone who did a lot of things that people told me were absolutely impossible. And I did them because not because I have some magic thing that no one else has. It's being willing to make a decision, it's being willing to step into your fear, and being willing to take a chance on yourself. And that starts, I believe, with learning to love who you are. If you don't get anything else from this thing, it's like do that work. If you don't get if anything else from what I said, do that work. Learn to love yourself, please. Yeah.
That is amazing. Warren Buffett
Mm.
famously said, "The greatest investment you can ever make is the
Mm.
investment in yourself."
Yeah.
And I'll add to that, the greatest investment in yourself you can make is learning to love yourself.
Yeah.
There is nothing greater than that.
Right.
And so, folks, we invite you to uh, start there
Yeah. Yeah.
and do the
Yeah.
hard work. And
Yeah.
it's amazing. And on the other side of it, you're gonna realize what an amazing person you are. What
Oh
an
my gosh.
amazing, amazing person you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, Troy?
100%. You look
And
back, yeah. Yeah.
you'll look back and
And
what?
you go like, "Oh my gosh, like I made it through that. I worked through that. I overcame that." Yeah, you did.
Start there, you guys, right? The fact that you're listening to us, the fact that I'm having this
Yeah.
conversation with Troy, the fact that we're alive
Yeah.
is a testament to the
Yeah.
miracle of us, right? I mean, think back
Definitely.
on all the things that you survived, if not years
Yes.
ago, yesterday.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, anyway, I'm not going to belabor the point, folks. You are amazing. Troy and I are
Yes.
telling you you are amazing. Now we're
Yes.
asking you to do the work and convince yourself,
Yes. Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Troy, this has been incredible. This has been an
Absolutely
incredible
amazing.
conversation. Um, how do people connect with you? How do people learn more? Where should we got the show notes, right?
Right,
But
right, right.
how best for people to connect or learn more about you?
So there are two easy ways. One is Troy Horne, TroyHorne.com. That's one way. And the other one is I put together this kind of like free download for people in the second half looking to rediscover or discover their next passion or whatever.
Kind of
And
like a
that's at,
midlife crisis thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, midlife discovery,
No,
definitely.
there you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
Midlife discovery.
yeah.
Perfect. I love that.
And it's called middle. It's at middlemanagement.bio. Middlemanagement.bio. There's the download that kind of goes over some of the steps that I use to make steps into the new second half of my life, which has been writing books. And, so hopefully this will help you find what your new next step is as well.
Oh my gosh. Folks, go there. Say that again. Where
Mm.
do they go?
Middle
Middlemanagement.bio.
management. Yeah, middlemanagement.bio. And then
I'm going
it
to go there.
hopefully will help you to start. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Troy, listen, thank you for joining me today. My
No,
goodness,
thank
this has been
you.
such a fun and meaningful conversation. I love you. God bless you. All
Ah,
the
love you.
success, all the love to you in the world. And everybody, share this. Share this. There are
Mhm.
people you know in your life that need to hear Troy's message. And please share it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe.
Mhm.
With that, I love you. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye.